Okay, welcome back to Homeschooling with B. For those of you that don't know, my name is Kara. I am a photographer and videographer based out of Fort Worth, Texas. I homeschool my daughter, who is turning 4 next month in May. We are secular homeschoolers, and this past year was our first year doing it. Yeah, so this video, I'm specifically wanting to talk to y'all a bit about what we did this past year. We used Torchlight's PreK curriculum, and I'm going to go through what worked for us, what didn't work for us, and what I'm hoping to implement next year that we didn't quite get to this year. First of all, I just want to say that I have loved this curriculum. I don't want, because there are a few things that I didn't love so much. I don't want that to take away from the fact that I love this curriculum, and so far I see Torchlight being in our life for a very long time because I have enjoyed it so much. But there are some things that I have used religiously from it and some things that I have not. We have decided for next year we're going to be using the same curriculum along with some added in curriculums. We're going to use Idlewild and Wild Math to supplement. Really, Idlewild is going to be our main curriculum next year because a lot of the stuff that we've already done in Torchlight, we don't really want to repeat. Some of it will repeat for like added learning stuff that I think Bobby could benefit from going over again, but for the most part, I don't want to repeat too much. I want to keep it moving forward. So let's get into it a little bit. So first I'm going to talk about the stuff that I just loved from this curriculum. And there's a lot, so be ready for that. The main things that I want to say, that I have found myself recommending to other people, just even families that aren't homeschooling, that I'm like, y'all should get these books because the projects in them will get you outside. It's fun for both like the parents and the kids. Like, the main things that I have loved with Torchlight are these lookbooks and a little bit of dirt. The experiments and projects and activities that are in these books are like, they're so much fun. And Bobby and I have had so much fun exploring both books that we'll continue to use them, and I'll continue to buy, because there's like a lot of these. It's Look, I'm a Scientist, and Look, I'm an Engineer that we've used this year. I did not, as much as I wanted, like I talked about wanting to do this at the beginning of the year, I did not get Look, I'm a Cook implemented this year. But I do have high hopes for next year and plans to add this in to our schooling next year. So along with, I'm sure, one or two more that I'll look up and find and add in, because I've just really enjoyed these. A little bit of dirt is like, I look forward to the projects in this book every week. And I know we have not hit even half of them going through Torchlight curriculum. So I know there's so much more to explore in this book. Highly recommend. Little bit of dirt. I have also really enjoyed the emotional intelligence portions of Torchlight curriculum. So much so that actually I'm going to push that a little harder next year. Since we're still using PreK, I won't get any extra curriculum from them for that. So I'm going to supplement in my own ways. That we're going to implement a morning basket next year, and its main focus is going to be focus on the mind, emotional intelligence, logic, meditation. We're going to start implementing meditation practices, breathing practices. I want it to be like a very safe space for Bobby to go and just kind of explore herself. That's what I want our morning basket to be. And I'll do probably, once I get all the stuff for it, I'll probably do a more in-depth video on what I'm putting into it. And then hopefully at the end of the year, I can do a video on what worked for us there too. So Breathe Like a Bear and a whole bunch of feelings that are with the Torchlight curriculum were some favorites of mine too. I really like with Both of these, they create like a badge wall. So after we go over a lesson on a feeling or a breathing exercise, she gets to put a badge on the wall, and then we can come back to them and review them. If there's ever a time that she needs a mindful moment, we can go back to that board and be like, which one of these would you like to practice right now? So I really like those. Of course, I always like art. So the art lab book, we've really been enjoying. It's been fun to do the project that was there, teach Bobby what they have told me to teach her, but then like push it a little further and see what she comes up with next. Give her another piece of paper, let her do something a little bit more with that. See where she explores. So that's been a lot of fun too with this art lab book. Doodling Dragons, we have really enjoyed. We will continue doing. This is one of the things with the Torchlight curriculum that we will do over again. This year has been more about learning her letters, making sure she knows what each one looks like, starting to learn how to write them all. Next year, we're really gonna focus heavily on the sounds of letters. That's an area that she's had trouble connecting to. So we're gonna really focus on the sounds of letters, and I might even find something to supplement a little bit more to kind of push that a little more. We have also, since this year was specifically about learning the sight of the letters and writing, I have always paired Doodling Dragons with like a worksheet just to get her writing and practicing and looking at it a little bit more. So we'll continue using Doodling Dragons, and we're going to push it a little bit further next year, I believe. I've really liked the Nature's Wonders book that we do in Torchlight. One of the other curriculums that I've picked for next year, Idlewild and Company, is very set up. I don't have a lot of like practice with unit studies. We just haven't gotten into that yet. Bobby's still really young, and I mean, last year was our first year, but it seems like it's set up very unit study like, in the sense that with Torchlight, each week had a theme, and Idlewild is the same, where each week has a theme, but with Torchlight it was just like subtly themed, and like you could go with it as you will. With Idlewild, it seems like the theme is very focused on those themes each week. So I think that even Nature's Wonders, this book pairing with the Idlewild next year, is going to be even better. Like, this will be another resource we can pull from for that. So we'll be reiterating some of the concepts we already went over in Nature's Wonders and talking about it a little bit more. I think it's going to be really good. Okay, and then the last kind of subject is math. So math is where like some of the concepts fell off for me. Some of the things didn't work for us with Torchlight. Some of it really did. She's like, the preschool math at home has been almost a breeze for her. She's gone through it pretty quickly. The concepts, we haven't had to like go over concepts very much with these, as well as the math inquiry tables. Both of those she's gotten pretty well. I'll probably implement a couple of the concepts again next year just to go along with, we're implementing wild math next year too. So I'll probably pull some from those, the math inquiry tables and preschool math. But for the most part, she's gone really quickly through them, and she's grasping the concepts really fast with math. That being said, there were a few math things with Torchlight that didn't work for us, which I'll get into in a second. The last thing I wanted to talk about with what we did love this year is literally every single story from the Torchlight curriculum that we have read, we've gotten from the library, or half the time I end up buying them. So we get them from the library and we read through them for the week, and then at the end of the week I'm like, we're gonna buy this one because this is a good story. Our library has like doubled. But I have been so pleased with the quality of stories that they have put into Bobby's life. Like, very inclusive, super upbeat. Like, they're really, I mean, top notch. Super, the book list for the Torchlight curriculum is like worth the money to buy it. Like, the book list was amazing. Really enjoyed those. Okay, so now I'm gonna get into the stuff that has not worked for us. It's not much. Like I was saying earlier, it's mainly the math side of things. So the preschool math book she got through really fast. One we started off with and did not follow through is the Socks Like Pants. It's really cool, and there's a lot of really cool concepts in here. I just don't think Bobby was quite prepared for it yet. They're a little more complicated. Some of them she like did really good. Like, there's these bugs that you have to find the difference in the bugs, and they're very subtle, and you have to really be paying attention to detail. She did really good on that. Some of the stuff was just a little, her focus isn't there enough to like look at the page and figure things out. So I'm gonna try this again next year. I think that I like everything that's in this book, so I do want to try it one more time and give it the benefit of the doubt and see where we can go with it. So I'm gonna try it again next year, but this year with my 3-year-old, I mean, it was a no-go. The next one was not really the book's fault. I just kept forgetting about it. And that's Mobius Noodles. I don't even know much about this book because I really didn't get into it. I kept meaning to and kept forgetting to add it into my weekly curriculum because, you know, you get on this like routine, and this kind of doesn't come in at the beginning, it comes in later on, and I never got it in. So I'm gonna try this one next year too, and I'll let y'all know how that goes because I just forgot about it most of the time. So we'll see how that goes. The last thing that we didn't end up doing is the connection project. I was really excited about the connection project at the beginning of the year, and I thought, for those of you that don't know, with the Torchlight curriculum, the connection project, each week they have you do a different piece that at the end of the year you put all these projects together, and it's like, it shows you your year, like what you've done, where you've gone. I think at first I was really like excited about it, and we did the first few projects. Then as it started going, it was just hard to get Bobby, because a couple of the things were just a little over her head. She wasn't quite drawing people yet, and on some of them she was supposed to like draw herself, and it just wasn't, it was hard for me to get inspired when half the time it was like something that like was going to take a lot of work to like explain to her, and like a lot of focus on her part to like really get into and do. So we kind of fell off of it. That is definitely something I'll be doing next year. So what's funny about all the things that I said didn't work for us, they're all things that I'm going to try again next year. I just didn't think Bobby was quite ready for them. And this homeschooling journey, it's really important to me that we're both having fun with it, and I didn't want to like push it too much, you know? So we're gonna try the 3 things that didn't work for us, we're trying again next year. Yeah, so that's basically it with Torchlight. If you have any questions about the Torchlight curriculum, I am so happy to answer them. Like I said, I cannot recommend it highly enough. We're 10 weeks from finishing it. We're about 10 weeks out. So we're like well over halfway through this. I mean, I think it's a 32 week course. 32 weeks. So we're pretty far in, and we're about 10 weeks from being done, and I just have no complaints. Like, even my complaints saying things that didn't work were not complaints. Like, it was just on us. We weren't ready for it. So I cannot recommend it enough, so much that we're redoing it again next year, just adding in other things for the stuff that she's already passed. But yeah, if you have any questions about it, feel free to drop them in the comments. I would love to answer or chat or whatever you need. I am an open book. As this is my first year, I'm not an expert by any means, but I am an open book on where we are and how far we've come and the struggles we've had. So like, ask me whatever you need. Other than that, I'm gonna do an in-depth flip through coming up on the Idle Wild curriculum that we're using next year and the Wild Math curriculum that we're using next year. I already have done a flip through for the PreK Torchlight curriculum. I'll link that in the description for you to click on if you want to see it. I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.